Welcome to the YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub, your one-stop solution for expert guidance, best practices, and actionable knowledge in the world of contact centers. Explore, learn, and enhance contact center skills. Let's structure the key considerations for target setting of contact rate in a contact center. Let's now move into the key considerations for target setting of contact rate, starting with industry benchmarks. It's important to remember that contact rate expectations vary widely across industries and campaign types, so setting realistic, data-driven targets is crucial for fair performance evaluation. For cold sales or telemarketing campaigns, a contact rate between 5 and 15% is typical, since customers are often unprepared for the call and less likely to engage. For warm leads or opt-in campaigns, where customers have shown prior interest, you can expect a stronger contact rate around 20 to 40%. In collections and debt recovery operations, contact rates generally fall between 15 and 30%, as customers may hesitate or delay in responding. Finally, in service or proactive outreach campaigns, like appointment reminders or you'll often see much higher contact rates, ranging from 40 to 60%, since customers are expecting those interactions. Impact: your contact rate targets must always align with the nature of outreach, customer intent, and industry standards, ensuring realistic performance goals and fair operational assessment. Next, let's look at another key consideration when setting contact rate targets: campaign purpose. Every campaign has a different objective, and your contact rate expectations should reflect that purpose. In sales campaigns, the focus is on maximizing right-party contacts to fuel and conversion. However, because these calls often reach new or cold prospects, it's realistic to accept a lower baseline contact rate. What matters most is quality engagement, not just volume. For collections campaigns, targets typically sit in the mid-range. Depends heavily on debtor willingness and payment urgency, so while contact rates can fluctuate, they must remain strong enough to sustain recovery momentum. Meanwhile, service notification campaigns, such as reminders or proactive customer outreach, usually achieve the highest contact, since customers are expecting the call and are more likely to respond promptly. Impact: aligning your contact rate targets with campaign purpose ensures that expectations are balanced, realistic, and strategically aligned with business outcomes. Another crucial consideration when setting contact rate targets is data quality and list source. The origin and integrity of your contact data directly influence what's realistically achievable. If your campaign relies on purchased or third-party lists, you should expect lower contact. These lists often include outdated numbers, unverified details, or contacts who never consented to be reached. In contrast, first-party, consent-based CRM data tends to perform far better. These are customers who have interacted with your brand, option, and are more likely to engage when contacted. That's why your targets should always reflect the realistic contactability of your data source, not just operational ambition. Impact: high quality, first-party data supports higher contact rate expectations. External or cold data requires conservative, quality-adjusted targets to stay fair and achievable. Another important factor in setting contact rate targets is your dialer strategy and mode. The type of dialer you use and how it's configured has a direct impact on how many right-party connections you can realistically achieve. For example, predictive dialers make high volumes automatically, connecting agents only when someone answers. While this approach increases total attempts, it can also result in more wrong-party connects and fewer verified right-party contacts. Preview dialers, on the other hand, allow agents to review customer details before each call. This reduces dialing speed but leads to higher RPC accuracy and better quality interactions. And then there are AI-driven dialers, advanced systems that dynamically balance speed and precision by learning from past call outcomes and adjusting pacing in real time. Impact: targets must always be aligned with the dialer strategy in use. Whether the focus is on volume, accuracy, or a hybrid AI-optimized approach. Let's now consider how the right party identification process, or RPI, influences contact rate target setting. The stricter your verification steps, the lower your measured contact rate may appear. But that's not a sign of poor performance, it's a sign of strong compliance. For example, when agents must confirm details such as date of birth, account number, or use one-time passwords, some calls will naturally drop off during the verification stage. However, those that are completed represent true right-party contacts, no risky connections. This is especially critical in sensitive industries like finance, healthcare, or insurance, where data protection and customer verification take priority over raw volume. Impact: contact rate targets should be calibrated to reflect compliance, recognizing that quality and legality outweigh sheer quantity in regulated environments. Another key consideration for setting realistic contact rate targets is the regulatory environment in which your campaign operates. Different regions enforce different outbound communication laws. For example, TCPA in the United States, TRAI in India, GDPR across the and various local do not call DNC regulations worldwide. These rules place strict limits on how many attempts can be made, what time of day calls are allowed, and how frequently numbers can be retried. Naturally, the tighter these regulations, the smaller your reach, which means your achievable contact rate will also be lower. It's important to ensure that your targets are compliance-aligned, not driven by unrealistic productivity pressure. Pushing beyond legal boundaries not only damages reputation but also exposes your organization to serious penalty. Impact: in heavily regulated markets, contact rate targets must be set conservatively and ethically, balancing compliance obligations with operational efficiency. Another essential factor in setting realistic contact rate targets is customer demographics and behavior. Not every customer segment responds the same way to outbound calls. Younger audiences, for example, are more likely to avoid phone calls, preferring to communicate through SMS or social channels. As a result, contact rates for these groups tend to be lower, and that's perfectly normal. In contrast, older demographics or business-focused customers are generally more receptive to voice calls. They often value direct communication to pick up, especially when the call is expected or relevant to their needs. For this reason, contact rate targets must be tailored by audience segment and channel preference. Trying to apply a one-size-fits-all target across diverse demographics can create misleading performance comparisons. Impact: aligning targets with customer accessibility and channel behavior ensures your goals are realistic, data-driven, and segment-specific, leading to fairer evaluations and smarter campaign design. Let's now look at another critical consideration: time zone and geography. Your contact rate can vary dramatically depending on where and when you call. Different regions, cultures, and customer lifestyles all influence when people are most likely to answer. For example, calling customers in multiple time zones needs to carefully plan dial windows to avoid early morning or late night attempts. Similarly, customers in some regions may prefer weekday calls, while others respond better on weekends or evenings. If your campaign operates across a diverse, your contact rate targets should reflect those differences. Setting uniform goals across all regions would create unfair and inaccurate performance assessments. Impact: smart scheduling and geographic calibration help optimize contact rate performance. Ensuring at the right time, in the right region, and with the right expectations for success. Another vital factor to consider when setting contact rate targets is your omnichannel readiness. The range of communication channels you use has a direct impact on how easily and effectively you can reach your customers. If your operation is voice-only, your right-party contact potentially lower. Many customers today simply prefer digital engagement and may ignore unknown phone calls altogether. However, if your campaign is supported by multiple channels, such as SMS, email, or WhatsApp, you can pre-warm customers, build recognition, reach feel more familiar and trusted. That leads to significantly higher achievable contact rates and stronger engagement overall. Impact: the broader your channel mix, the higher your contact rate potential. Voice-only campaigns should have lower targets, while omnichannelists can confidently aim higher based on their enhanced reach and flexibility. Another key consideration when setting contact rate targets, especially in outsourced or BPO environments, is SLA and contractual commitments. Many client contracts include specific right-party contact percentage requirements as part of their service level agreements. These are established to ensure consistent performance and guarantee that a minimum number of contacts reach the intended customers. However, while these SLA targets are contractually binding, they must also be operationally feasible. It's important to align them with real-world variables like data quality, compliance regulations, and campaign complexity. If targets are set unrealistically high, they can create operational strain, agent burnout, and unintended compliance risks. Instead, they should be based on data-backed forecasting and achievable benchmarks. Contact rate targets should always balance contractual obligations with operational reality, ensuring SLA compliance while maintaining sustainable, ethical outbound performance. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you in the next video.